Kia ora, good evening. The south was today continuing to see the effects of the snowstorm which hit the South Island. Flights between Invercargill and Christchurch and Wellington and flights in and out of Queenstown Airport this morning faced delays and cancellations due to poor weather conditions. The conditions were also proving a hazard on Southland's roads, with police warning of black ice and snow on the roads in some areas. Drivers have been told to take a cautious approach. Some roads are still treacherous and drivers are being advised to check conditions before travelling. The weather's uncertainty is always a challenge for farmers, and Mother Nature's changing face is again playing havoc. But farmer David Rose says timing of the current snowy conditions has been good and says the south got off lightly.
It's been a bit mixed in Southland. I think northern Southland and eastern Southland have come off worse than central or southern Southland. It is a winter storm and it is in winter, so it's not as if we don't expect this from time to time.
Would you say that the timing is perhaps fortuitous, having the cows dried off and no lambs in the paddocks?
Oh, absolutely. This is the best time of the year to have winter. Winter in winter is okay, but winter in spring is a disaster. So, yeah, this is the best time.
What sorts of problems are the farmers going to be dealing with as a result of this?
Not too much where I am. I'd imagine further north they're feeding out quite a bit of winter feed and things, and I guess with the winter crops being less, that's pretty valuable this year, so they'll be just hoping it passes reasonably soon.
How much do you think this is going to hurt farmers?
Well, again, it's hard to assess it at the moment. It'll depend on the rest of the winter. If this is it for the winter, then it won't be too bad. But if we get further storms like that, it could have a bit of an impact, considering that our winter crops yields are back due to the drought.
And as far as animal welfare, with the drought that we have experienced already, is stock in reasonably good form to weather the storm?
Absolutely. We had very good growth late this year. It took a while to grow, but when it grew on quite late. So, yeah, stock have been in good health, and the ground has been exceptionally hard for this time of the year, so it's helped the grass growth much longer than what you would normally expect.
So just talking about winter crop yields, they're already sort of tapping into winter feed earlier than they had anticipated due to the drought. Is this going to have an impact on feed budgets for farmers as well?
It will depend on how many of these storms we get this winter. This one I would think would sort of come and go reasonably quick, but yeah, it's something that farmers are very focused on. Winter crop yields are down and they've got to fill it with something, because grass growth doesn't start any earlier than normal in the spring.
So can you give us some examples of what sort of cost might be involved for farmers if they're having to buy in feed?
Baleage at the moment seems to be around that $70 to $90 mark, and if you can, well, there is plenty about, I believe, but it'll just depend on the yields on the crops, and for some people that'll be unknown as we go forward. How much utilisation we get depends on the weather, and then that of course depends on how much extra you've got to buy.
How far can you prepare for this type of thing?
You can prepare as much as you like. But at the end of the day, you've also got to react to the conditions, and sometimes things can come out of left field and you've just got to deal with it as best you can.
Weather also affected the Southland finals of the Smoke-Free Rock Quest, with organisers cancelling the event, which was scheduled to be held in Invercargill tonight. Rock Quest crew were unable to get south from their base in Nelson via Christchurch to run the event. 11 bands were scheduled to perform tonight but have been told the event is off. Founder and director Pete Rainey says it's only the second time in the event's 25-year history that a gig has been called off. The first was in Otago in 2007 due to snow. Southland entrants are being invited to send in videos of their music instead. A pilot whale which stranded on a small beach on Stewart Island has been euthanised. The 3.5-metre whale was found by a ranger near the bridge at Little River on Wednesday. It was in a distressed state and could not be refloated due to poor weather and the length of time before the next high tide. To prevent prolonged suffering, it was euthanised. No other whales have been sighted in the area. The most recent pilot whale stranding on Stewart Island was in February 2011, when 107 whales stranded at Mason Bay. And stay with us after the break. Good news on Ulva Island following rats being found recently at the sanctuary. Welcome back. Wildlife Sanctuary Ulva Island is likely pest-free again, with no further rats found following an incursion in April. 4 rats were found in traps on the island around 3 months ago, but Biodiversity Program Manager Brent Bevan says there have been no further rats found since. The open sanctuary off the coast of Stewart Island is home to some of New Zealand's most endangered birds, such as the mohua and saddleback. While the island is pest-free, on average 1 rat a year makes its way to the island, and keeping rats away is a constant battle. The proposal to change the governance of Venture Southland into a council-controlled organisation, enabling it to operate under company rules with more autonomy, looks unlikely to go ahead. Venture Southland was established 12 years ago by Southern councils as a means to access funding not normally available to councils. Venture Southland's proposal to form a council-controlled organisation, enabling it to borrow money and invest commercially as an entity under the Companies Act, required a unanimous decision from Southland, Invercargill and Gore councils. However, councils have rejected the proposal, although the decision won't be final until draft annual plans are adopted. Venture Southland is the agency responsible for the region's economic and community development initiatives. Hundreds of people in Southland are affected by the condition sleep apnea, and it's believed many more are undiagnosed. The Sleep Apnea Support Southland group is working to raise awareness and help those affected. I spoke to Chair Brian Ballett.
Well, the effect of sleep apnea is usually people sometimes during the day dropping off to sleep, or maybe whilst driving, but through the night their sleep is disrupted many times by different episodes of apnea where they don't breathe, and quite often their spouses will dig them up and try to get them breathing again. And people have lots of episodes through the night, and as a result, of course, they don't get oxygen to the blood, and it does. Next day you wake up absolutely, had it. And as I say, with driving, in my case, I used to be singing away, perhaps in a choir, and just for a second you drop off, not for long, but you just don't know it's going to happen. And some people are a lot worse than that, and it affects people in different ways. But it can, and I can't quote medical things, but can affect health quite dramatically.
Now, the Southland Sleep Apnea Association is trying to raise awareness about the condition?
Yes, we're having a meeting on June the 24th at the Workingmen's Club, and the support group, we don't give medical advice, though we get people to speak to us who, like some of the speakers of that night, have expertise in that. But you have to wear masks and have different machines, and we're there we've had some of the problems regarding masks or the running machines, that we can help other people. They don't know where to turn, or their spouses may talk to other spouses that come along, or we might be able to help them just so they know how to use it, and it makes it much easier to have somebody. People may only come once or twice, but there's 2 or 3 are there all the time to help people from that point of view, and help each other.
How many people do you think could actually be affected by the condition?
I believe there's about 500 sufferers who have machines in Southland. So there'd be so many undetected with sleep apnea, and we don't know what the true picture is, but I believe there's about 500 people that we know of in Southland, so that's quite a number.
And that's it from News Tonight. Stay with us. Coming up in sport, more from the Gore boxing champs. We'll leave you now with the week that was. From the news team, good night.